What's up everybody, it's me E-Man from E-Man's Movie Reviews, and today we are going to review Rambo Last Blood. Now before we get started, please hang tight until the end of this review because I've got a special message for you all. Alright, let's get into a quick intro. John Rambo is hanging out on his Arizona ranch until the Mexican cartel decides to mess with his family. Only problem is, they don't know that Rambo is crazy. Enough of that, let's get right into the good.
The good.
Let's get one thing clear from the very beginning. John Rambo is nuts. This character is literally off his meds, and he's a complete savage monster against the villains in this story. That is probably one of the most engaging aspects of the film when it comes to his character. You want to see him lose it and just go all out when he's out for revenge. Last Blood certainly delivers in that regard, especially when you get to see all the Home Alone traps that were advertised in the trailer. This movie certainly doesn't hold back with its graphic violence either, and many of those gory scenes will evoke some oohs and ahs from the audience. Another positive with this movie is from like a thematic perspective. Last Blood does a decent job of depicting the PTSD the war veteran experienced. For all of us longtime Rambo fans, this helps to ground the character and humanize him in various ways. We get a chance to see Rambo have flashbacks or revert to behaviors that aren't typically normal but are a byproduct of his troubled past. All of that allows audiences to connect and maybe feel a little bit more for the character as the film progresses. Okay, that's it. Let's get to the bad.
The bad.
Okay, so while the third act of the movie was really good, the first two acts was a chore to get through. The film starts off well enough by trying to establish the relationships and bonds that the characters share. It was all good until the script started to pile on more and more over-the-top dramatic situations. For example, think of like a character losing a beloved pet, and then they get divorced, and then they find out that they're homeless, only to learn later that they're suffering from cancer. One dramatic issue on top of the other just made Last Blood feel like some soap opera on Telemundo. And to make matters even worse, the acting in Last Blood was really poor. Now keep in mind, I'm an action junkie fan. I love action movies. I know that you don't need award-winning acting in an action movie. But if you get to the point where you're watching an action movie and you can actually really notice the bad acting, that's not a good sign at all. Many of the performances in this film felt either forced or more scripted than natural in their delivery. Sylvester Stallone, being one of the most experienced actors, also fell victim to the cringeworthy scenes in his performance. I mean, there were moments in the movie where Rambo started to sound more like Rocky Balboa's character. The whole time you probably know what he's trying to convey, but what he puts out on screen just doesn't quite fit. In my opinion, some of that probably stems from below average directing. And might I say, the direction of this movie, it was just not that great either. I wasn't the biggest fan of the cinematography in this film. You have one scene, for example, where Stallone is having a serious conversation with a female character in a darkly lit room. The camera is pressed to their faces, and in any other circumstance, you'd probably think that they were about to make out or something. Instead, we just get some awkward framing that's supposed to play off as some super serious moment. But whatever, forget that nitpick. Some of the editing in this movie was a little bit off too. Once we get to like the third act of the film where it actually picks up and gets really good, it feels like the movie just makes a huge jump in logic just to satisfy the big action scene at the end of the film. There probably could have been a better set of events to just set up the big climactic ending. But instead, we go from 0 to 10 to 100 when it comes to the final confrontation. But enough of that, let's get to the reason.
The reason.
Rambo Last Blood is a sad departure from the Rambo character, although it tries very hard to recapture the allure of its past. As a longtime Rambo fan, I was just disappointed with this movie. It probably doesn't help that Last Blood seems like a rehash of The Equalizer and Taken, except in a different setting. If you can tolerate the first hour or so of the movie, then the rest of it is just smooth sailing in terms of the entertainment factor. From the acting to the directing to some of the writing, all signs point to Rambo Last Blood would have been a much better fit as a TV movie rather than a theatrical release. So when it comes to the rating for Rambo Last Blood, I've got to give it a 5 out of 10. There are absolutely some entertaining moments in this movie, but this is just not a good movie in my opinion. My recommendation is to just wait on it, wait until it gets on TV or streaming, and if you absolutely must go see it, just do a matinee or something. So, have you seen Rambo Last Blood? If you have, or when you do, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Also, if you're a fan of the Rambo franchise, where do you rank Rambo Last Blood in the whole series? Thank you so much for joining me today. I always appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my videos and my reviews. Now, as for that special message that I was telling you guys about, there's a special day coming up. That's right, it's yours truly's birthday, and something I like to do when I have the chance to do it. If I ever have something, I like to give back even on my birthday. So I wanted the opportunity to give something back to you all for just supporting my channel and just being awesome, really. So what I want to do is do a giveaway for 5 lucky winners to win a Blu-ray copy. Let's see, what do I have? I got 2 copies of Us. I've got a copy of Godzilla, King of the Monsters, a copy of Aquaman, and 1 lucky winner will win a digital copy of Avengers Endgame. I'll put a link down below in the description so you can enter for your chance to win. And I'll list the deadline for the contest in the description as well. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all. Until next time, I'll see you all later.